Hello and welcome everybody to the Finding Your Voice platform, where we're aiming to connect people from all over the world in this incredible time of social disconnect, keeping away from each other and global lockdowns. Today, my very special guest is Frida Kabo. Now, Frida is a LifeSpider Coach and a possibility explorer. And her favorite saying is, when nothing is certain, anything is possible, which I think is so liberating at a time like this. And she aims to create freedom and to explore what is possible for herself, for her family, and for all of her clients. Her journey has taken her all the way from Sweden to the beautiful, long, green island of New Zealand. And her mission is to help you to create a life that matters. So Frida, welcome to our forum. Before we get started, I just want to acknowledge that you are like, there might be a couple of little people that might come running through. I've got the children, I'm at home. We're all on lockdown. I think we all understand. So, if they run in, just, I'll pause and we can just keep going. What I'd really like to offer you is the opportunity just to tell us a little bit more about yourself. And of course, what a LifeSpider Coach is and a possibility explorer. They both sound quite awesome. Help us out.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much. I am excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me. So I moved all the way from Sweden to New Zealand 3.5 years ago with my little people and my man. And we wanted to try something else than Sweden. So I'm really excited to be here. And the LifeSpider, as a LifeSpider coach, I help people create the life that they want to live and create a life that matters. So the LifeSpider is a system where it's a special kind of coaching, you could say, and where the model looks like a spider. So that's why it's spider. And it's also building on the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. With safety and everything. And most of us are standing on the top of the hierarchy and feeling that something is missing and trying to get more of that. Trying to get more security, more money, bigger car, bigger house, when in reality we're standing on the top and need to get something more. And that's where the rest of the LifeSpider comes in. So it's the essence, it's who you are, where you're going, what drives you, and your life intentions as well. So it's a quite big model and quite big process that you go through. And you get like a coach that coaches you even after the coaching is over. So that's very short what the LifeSpider system is.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can imagine that, you take a look at any spider web that's out there. I mean, there's an intricate lot of little tiny threads that are all woven into this incredibly strong thing that this beautiful spider has created, right? So while I am not familiar with the LifeSpider coaching model, it does sound really awesome, because with Maslow's hierarchy of needs that you mentioned, when you say that you're standing at the top and you're looking down, I mean, I understand that you've actually, with Maslow's, you've got to work from the bottom up, right? So you have to really make sure that the bottom of the pyramid, which are all your needs for safety and all that, are then met, and shelter and all that. And then you move up to the next level, And then at the top of the pyramid, you'd be having something like self-actualization, where you're, trying to, I guess, connect with, the essence of who you are. But unless you've actually got all those other things of the hierarchy in place, it doesn't matter how much your triangle is never going to be as strong as what it could be. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely. And as I say, with the LifeSpider, the spider is not as steady if it just uses one or two legs. You have to have the base in place to be steady in your spider. And that's also why so many people are hoarding like toilet paper, because to them that is safety, and they don't feel safe, so that is safety. In fact, if they really would look at it, it's not. They don't need that much. So we're trying to getting that safety when, instead of just looking, okay, what do I actually have? What do I actually need right now?
Yeah. And during this particular time of COVID-19, right, it's not only just hitting us in New Zealand, but it's hitting everybody, everyone throughout the world, right? And we all have certain needs for safety and for security and for stability and for connection. you know. So I guess that's where my platform comes in, of trying to maintain the connection. But what, you know, something like the LifeSpider coaching mechanism would do, I guess, would be to take a look at whatever aspects of your life are currently a bit shaky or not being met. Now, there's a lot of people who aren't feeling like they, or may not have a roof over their head. They may not have enough clothes, you know, to keep themselves warm, or enough food. And then you've got other people who have that fear of not having that and are hoarding and are panic buying, as, you know, social media likes to term it, you know, and people are having fights about it. You know, you've taken everything away from us. What about us? You know, and so we've got, I guess, you know, a few sides of that coin, really, where some people are like, oh my gosh, I need to do this so that I can feel safe, so that I know that I'm looked after, myself and my family are cared for in this time. You have the other side of the coin, where there's other people that they might not be thinking about because it's not part of their world right now, right? Because they're in that state of fear, or they're in that state of insecurity, that is all that they can look after.
Yeah, definitely. And this with the social distancing as well, I would like to add that I like the reframe of physical distancing and social connection, because like we are doing here. And also with my family in Sweden, and I'm working online with clients all over the world, we do have like the online world to connect into if you want and need to.
I really like that reframe. Physical distancing and social connection. You know, it's interesting that when terms get passed around, the kind of impact that it actually has on our emotional state of mind, and our mental state of mind, and our spiritual state of mind. You know, they they say social distancing, or they say self-isolation. Now, while all those terms are there because, you know, that's where they're coming from with their own paradigm of thinking, is that, yeah, well, this makes sense. Social is people, distance, keep away from people. But, you know, you step to, I guess, to the other side, who's actually going, like yourself, for example, who's just pointed this out, who's actually going, well, hang on a second, if we call this social distancing, we are actually creating a pathway in people's minds who are now going, oh, I have to be socially distant. And something that I've noticed is that suddenly people don't talk anymore. You know, before we had lockdown, people would be out at the mall or at the shops getting whatever it is that they wanted to, and nobody was talking. Everybody was quiet. And I just remember noticing this, going, I wonder if this is actually part of what happens when you have a term like you've identified that says social distancing. We kind of just go, okay, well, therefore I need to just I need to put my blinkers on, I just need to put my head down and just quickly do what I've got to do, because if I don't look and I don't acknowledge the people around there, they're not there and I'm socially distant. You know, and that can't be healthy right now, can it?
No, because we need that other people. That's so important, and there is an online world that can give us that, the connection, even if we can't hug each other right now, but it's still a connection. And as I said, I have my extended family in Sweden, and so we're used to having that extended social interaction online, but it can still be as heartfelt as seeing each other in person. So it's so important how we frame things. Yeah,
exactly.
Definitely.
You know, and reframing, in case somebody doesn't know, is when you're thinking something a certain way, but it's maybe something that's bringing about a negative emotion within you, or it's bringing something that doesn't feel good. When you reframe it, it's just a bit like taking the picture out of an old frame and putting it into a nice new frame. It's exactly the same picture, but you're saying instead of that negative, you're putting more of a positive spin on it. Yeah. And so when you said physical distancing and social connection, that is, I think that's actually the key. Because physically distant, absolutely. Socially, do you have to stop communicating with everybody around the world? No, this is actually now a time where, if there was ever a time that you should actually be connecting with people that you maybe haven't spoken to, or, call your mother, like that kind of thing. And I was going to bring out another point. Oh, but what I was going to say as well is that, you know, we're so used to, we're humans, right? We love physical contact, most of us. There are some people who don't, but most of us, it's about having that physical contact. You know, we get into relationships, or we give each other hugs, or we are talking and we, like, you know, put our hand on them just because it's a touch thing, right? That's what we do. We're tactile animals, if you like to think of it that way. And so when we're now in the situation like how we are now, while we still feel connected and we're still talking, we are missing out on that physical contact, and that can actually be detrimental to us in some aspect. You know, studies were done, and I'm pretty sure this was a Maslow study actually, when studies were done on monkeys, and monkeys when they were born, if they weren't touched and cuddled by their mum because the mum abandoned them, or for whatever reason they were not part of their pack anymore, those monkeys that were booted out did not thrive as well as the monkeys that were given the love and attention and the cuddles and the, you know, everything from their mother and from the rest of the tribe. So at a time right now where we have this disconnect, I think, and you may agree to this, that we need to make sure that we are, you know, cuddling our kids, you know, giving our partner a hug, you know, making sure that we are also reframing how our current connections are. So while, you know, if I was talking to my partner now, for example, and they were in another country, we don't have that same physical connection. However, we've got a different kind of connection. And so making peace with that in our minds, that for now, this is how we're communicating and this is our form of connection. And it doesn't mean that this is how it's always going to be. But we're being forced to talk, you know, and we're being forced to connect on a different level. And maybe that is a good thing, right?
Yeah, definitely reframing that as well. And also, I think it's a great opportunity for us to think about how can we give that to ourselves? Like, what do I really need? What do I actually need? And how can I give that to myself? Give yourself a cuddle. If you're, because some are in this isolation alone.
Yeah.
And give yourself a cuddle. Give yourself a long warm bath. Give yourself what you need, and really think about what you need. I think it's an opportunity as well, not just something. Yeah.
And we don't have to do that with drinking alcohol and, you know, going overboard with food. I've seen so many posts of people going, I'm not going to be able to fit my clothes by the end of lockdown, and it's like, well, then stop eating as much, you know, like, because that's not nourishing yourself. You know, that's going to give you some further issues when all this is past, and now you're not happy. You know, it's about moderation. So
definitely, yeah. Think about what makes you feel happy, because overeating usually don't make you feel happy in the long run. Or
in the long run, in the short run, maybe, but you know, the long run, long run, not so much. You know, the next day, oh, I'm so full, my stomach. You know, oh, I can't
take
fit
one
my
piece
jeans.
of chocolate. It's gonna be there. Just hug yourself, and if you're having trouble, just write a list of things that makes you feel good. Maybe put on a song and dance, take a bath, take a walk in the neighborhood. All of those things that you know you like, because this is an opportunity for those who are sitting at home, I'm talking about, to actually have that time to do what you really like. So is it reading one of those books that's on your shelf, or looking at a movie, or like, it's important for us to stay in a good mood as well.
Yeah, and for those people who don't know what they like to do, or they don't know what feels good for them, or they don't know how to nourish themselves because they've been caught in the rat race of how how life used to be before lockdown, you know, and now suddenly they're immersed in this void where they can't keep busy because they don't have work, you know, and they can only clean the house that many times, and you know, and now what do I do with my time, and who am I? And where am I, and what time is it? You know, like all these kind of things. it's now an opportunity, or maybe it's an invite to all those people, is just to stop and go, what did I used to really enjoy doing when I was younger? You know, okay, maybe I can't jump on a trampoline anymore, but, you know, but I used to enjoy getting out. Okay, well, what do I enjoy now about getting out? Oh, the sun. Was it a sunny day? Okay, yes, it is. I'm going to go out and I'm just going to go sit in the sun for 10 minutes and I'm just going to get some vitamin D, you know,
Yeah.
or maybe it's like, oh, I really used to, you know, like writing. I might just write something. Or who have I not connected with lately? You know, who have I kept saying, oh, you know, I'll get hold of them one day. The day's now, you know, get hold of them now. You know, or you know, I have a friend who's like, I'm going to do a course. I'm going to study a course, and there's a really cheap course going on. It's all discounted now, which is fantastic. I mean, that's a plus. And I'm going to study. I'm just going to get a certification. And you know, it's anything like that. It's spending that time with ourselves right now, when most of us have got a little bit more time up our sleeve, where we can just start to go, you know what, once my head has stopped spinning after, you know, falling off this wheel of life that I've been on, who am I, and what am I doing with it, and where am I going, you know, without bringing ourselves down about it, you know, just taking this one thought at a time. And if you feel like you're going too deep into it, then just stop it for a second and go outside and get your vitamin D or something. I mean, that's what you would suggest, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's an invite to follow that curiosity and just see be curious about what's there. And it's totally fine to not be okay for a while, because we are changing. This is a big change. There's a lot of uncertainty as well. So just acknowledge that those feelings are there and they are totally fine as well. But also, like, when you acknowledge them, think about, okay, how can I use this time in a good way, in not necessarily a productive way, but productive in the sense that you make yourself feel good and have the chance to think about how your life have been and what you want more or less of in your life going forward. Because life is not going to be, I feel that we're not going to go back. We're going to go forward to something new, not what was, but something new and exciting, hopefully.
Yes,
So it's just a matter of thinking what that could be for you and how you would want it. Because it's so easy to get stuck in the normal life, like get stuck in the work. And I know a lot of people getting stuck in the work and just feeling that, oh, I should do something else, but not really doing it. And this is the wake-up call. This is the time.
Yeah. You know, and really stepping into our creativity, whatever that might look like, you know, whether it's baking, or whether it's, you know, writing or reading, or doing artwork, or decorating your garden, or just thinking about what life, you know, holds for us, you know, and what amazing things can we actually step into once we are physically able to not be so distant from each other, you know, once we are physically able to connect, once we are, you know, required to go back to work and to act like everything's okay and everything's back on track. I mean, there's going to be a period of time where we're going to have to get used to coming out of isolation, if you like, and stepping back into what we call the real world. However, I'm hoping, and I like what you've alluded to as well, Frida, is that maybe the real world is actually going to be like a new world, and we're going to have to really work out where we fit within that. And I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, there's a lot of job changes, there's you know, relationships separating or relationships coming together, you know, or people taking totally different paths in their life where they go, you know what, I was earning $500,000 a year. I don't want to do that anymore. I now just want to go and work in this volunteer organization or something, because people are going to shift. You know, there's going to be like an energy shift. I'm hoping.
Yeah, and can feel it already. I get the shivers when you talk about it. It's
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really a shift for people, because when we are in an extreme situation as we are in, we start to think about, okay, like only the question, what is really essential? What can be open? What is essential? What is really important to us?
Mm.
And when we look at it, it's not really that much. So if we have all those things now, we have everything, most of us have everything we need. What's the next step? What's this new platform that I'm building from? What comes now?
And I guess that's where your other title of Possibility Explorer would come in, right? You would be used to asking all these really awesome open-ended questions about life to people, wouldn't you?
Yeah, definitely. And that's what I like, if you can like something about this situation, but it helps people to question what is really certain, because we take so many things for granted or for certain in life, like going to work, doing that, like all of those things. But when we're in an extreme situation like this, not many things are really certain. And then use that uncertainty to see that anything is actually possible. What can we create from that?
Well, I can only imagine that working with you would be quite a mind-blowing, mind-expanding experience. So if anybody was interested in working with you or finding out more about you, they can get hold of you on your website, which is Frida Kabo. So that's FridAKabo.com. Otherwise, on your Facebook page, which is also just at Frida Kabo. Nice and easy. I like that. That's really cool. So please, if anyone is listening and is like, possibilities, I need to look into some possibilities. I've got no idea what my possibilities are. Get hold of Frida. Do you have any parting message, or anything as like a summary of what it is that you've said that you really want to leave our viewers with today?
So I would really leave you with that anything is really possible, and this is a space that is created, that we have here and now, to really think about things, but to really feel what we need right now as well. What do you need right now? You might not want to think about the next step or the big questions. You might just want to go out in the sun and have some vitamin D. Do what feels right for you. And this is a space where you can do that.
I love that. Frida, thank you so much for coming onto my platform today. I wish you all the very best over our time of lockdown. I was going to say long may it not last. And thank you so much. We'll be in touch soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, bye for now. Here we go.